All right, everyone, what is up? So today I'm going to break down an insane strategy. This is a strategy that I used when I first started quick trading, and it's more pattern recognition than anything, right? No indicators, just pure charts, right? But what we're going to be doing is capitalizing on patterns. Okay, this is exactly what I want you guys to notice and what I want you guys to see so that when you come into the program, it is just seamless and your execution of the trades are just flawless when you use the main strategy, right? These are all just for fundamentals. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is just for educational purposes so that you can go and practice on pocket option. Okay, get used to quick trading and how it works. Let's break down exactly how the entire strategy works. Let's just get the tool set up over here. Perfect. So what we firstly want to be doing is capitalizing on things called streaks. Streaks are candles which occur more than once in a row, right? So if you have a green candle, green candle, green candle, green candle, etc., until obviously a red interferes. And then opposite, if there's like a red, 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 until a green interferes. And then like a red, red, until a green interferes. A whole bunch of reds until obviously a green interferes. A whole bunch of greens until a red interferes. That is what we are going to be trying to trade and what I'm going to teach you as a strategy that you can start using right now to get used to quick trading and to start getting some bucks. But the real strategy is in that program. But let's get you used to quick trading and get you going with the strat. How is it going to work? Well, firstly, what I want you to do is set up, or this is probably going to be over my face. I want you to set up your charts to look exactly like mine. So you need to come here over to the the currency section. Make sure that your chart is on an OTC pair with 92%. Next, your thing needs to be normal candlesticks with 5-second time frames. Your trade time also needs to be 5 seconds, and then your size is anything that is obviously less than 1% of your account to make it safe to trade with. Now, what are we going to do for the strategy? Well, it is very simple. We want to be, as I said, catching these streaks, right? We want to be catching each and every single one of these candles. How does that work though? Well, because we're obviously taking 5-second trades and the candles are 5 seconds, that means that when this trade time ends, right? So when that candlestick closes, you will see that a new trade or a new candle will begin. So there, a new one forms. Pretty much what we're going to be doing is actually entering at the start of this candle. So you see there, I enter at the start of a candle, just doing a $1 trade to demonstrate, and I lose. But as soon as this candle ends, right? As soon as this candle ends, it shows the result of my trade. So as that closed, it showed the results of my trade. And that's exactly how you enter on these candles. You enter as soon as the time goes from 0.01 into the next candle. So boom, there we go. Then you would enter. That is exactly how you enter. You would obviously click buy or sell based on the color of the candle. Now, let us begin with teaching the strategy. It is very simple. What you want to do is, obviously, because you're on a 5-second chart, right? What you want to do is zoom out your chart all the way until you hit M5. Okay, it needs to say M5 here at the bottom. All right, M5. This is pretty much just the scale of how far it is from you. Obviously, this is very close. It needs to be on M5. Then what you're going to do is you're going to drag this as far to the left as possible, right? So that it can't go any further. Then you're going to drag out to M12. Then you're going to drag it even as far as you can. So pretty much, actually, to make it simpler, just make this M12, okay? Make this M12 on 5-second charts, and then drag it as far to the left as possible. Why are we doing this though? Well, before we want to catch these streaks, we need to see if the market is actually providing these streaks or not, and what are the probabilities that they actually do. Well, as you can see in this market, it looks like there are plenty of streaks that it provides in all of the color of these candles, which means that we can take the probability and the opportunity of trades to follow these directions, right? To follow these streaks. You can see they are so prevalent. This is probably going to be another red candle, but let's see if the streak continues. See 1, 2, let's see what happens here. And then it didn't happen. But there could obviously be the possibility that this one becomes green. That didn't happen, but that's why we're not entering and we want to analyze first, because trading is always about analysis. You see all of these streaks over here. This is exactly what you want to be looking for. But I'd highly suggest going through a couple charts and seeing which ones are providing the best streaks. So something like this looks really promising and looks really good. So I will probably look into something like this and also something like this to trade. How is it going to work now? So because I'm using $100 trade, I'm going to be aiming for plus 12 units, right? I'm going to be aiming for plus 12 units, obviously not in this session because I'm just showing you how the strategy works, or minus 5, right? But what happens when you hit either? And this is the importance of risk management. When you hit minus 5, that would be minus $500, right? Minus $500. If you hit plus 1,200, it's going to be plus $1,200, correct? So that's exactly how it works. Let's firstly just go here and open the trading calculator so that we can obviously calculate the risk for this all. This was our old calculator. It looks absolutely terrible. But now if we go into the updated version, you'll be able to see exactly how it looks now. So what I'm going to do is just make this $10,000 account and change this to 0.01 real quick. So now we have a $100 trade. I'm just going to make a new session here and then just change this. There we go. All right. So now we also need to update our targets here, make this 12 units in profit, and then this is going to be minus 5 units. There we go. So this is how our session calculator would be set up inside of the program, inside of this whole classroom over here, where you can obviously go and access the tools and the trading checklist and everything inside here, as well as the tracking calculator, which is pretty much this. And we're just going to use this as guidance inside of our trading session. So we want to be aiming to hit plus 12 units, which is $1,200 on a session. Obviously, I'm not going to record the whole thing because you want to see how it works. But we also need to stop if we hit minus 5. And what this does is, because on a day you might hit plus 12, let's say you have like a 60% win rate, right? If you had a 60% win rate, sometimes you would lose like minus 5 on one day and then minus 5 on another day. But if you hit plus 12 on one day, it's plus 12 minus 10, which means you actually stole profits 2 units after 3 days. That's exactly why the plus 12 is beautiful to go for. Another thing we're going to do is it's very simple, right? We are literally going to get into a trade, right? We're going to enter into a trade and we're going to keep going until we lose, okay? So go until loss. That is our risk model. We go until we lose. What does that mean? The worst case scenario, we lose $100. Best case scenario, we could win infinity. There could be thousands of these in a row. You never know. But the point is that we're limiting ourselves to one loss and allowing ourselves to accept over 20, possibly even 30 candles in a row that could go in our direction. And that's a lot of money. But obviously that's going to be in excess of our plus 12. But let's get into it, guys. So it's very simple. We're just going to be entering off of a previous candle. So here we're going to take a sell, and this is all we're going to be doing, right? So here was a losing trade. We're obviously going to add that in. Losing trade. There we go. And that's all we're going to be doing, right? So we're just going to be swapping between these charts, seeing if there's streaks. Looks like this one has good streaks. And we're literally just going to be entering off the color of the previous candle until we lose, right? That's exactly how the system's going to work and how we're going to trade it. So there we go. We're going to enter again, right? Because we can, obviously, because of that resistance. That was just based off of my intuition there from what I understand from trading. So you wouldn't take that second trade. That's just because I understand that that was going to continue going down. Obviously, because it's going up, down, down, up. I knew it was going to continue downwards in that likelihood, just because of this alternation zone where it's just going up and down like this. There's a probability that it's going to go down again. So these are sort of the areas you want to stay out of when you are trading this. But right now, obviously, just sitting down $108, not the worst. But yeah, let's just showcase how good the strategy really is. So we're going to take a buy off of this candle here. And that's a bit unlucky there. I'm going to add that loss. And we're pretty much just going to speedrun this, guys. We're going to go until we lose. You see a very choppy market. There might actually be news on this. I might need to check. So let's see. See here. Okay, not too bad right now. Right. I'm going to actually go with a larger size because I am very confident that the strategy will work out. Okay. So let's see. Here we go is a buying opportunity. There we go. Okay, perfect. So we made 500 there. So I'm actually going to calculate it outside of this. So we went down 300 and then we made pretty much 460. So I'm actually going to just calculate it outside of here for the meantime, just because I saw that was a really good opportunity. That was an A plus setup, right? When you have an A plus setup, you can afford to risk more. Just because I saw that we had a build up of streaks here, an alternation, and then a likely increase in the streaks over here, right? So obviously I could increase my trade size there. That's just off of like the whole ability and all the skills that I've pretty much uncovered and accumulated over my years. So minus 308. Then we're obviously going to add the 460 onto that. So we're currently sitting at 152 in profit. Now, what I would like to do though is reduce it back to the $100 mark and continue. So here we're going to take a sell. On this one, we're going to win and we're going to go until we lose, right? That's exactly how it works. So we won there. We won there. And we're pretty much just trying to capitalize on these streaks. That's how the strategy works. There we go. That's fine. We won 2. So we need to add 92. And we need to add 92 because obviously it's 92% payout on $100 trade, but then we lost that last one. So now we're sitting at $236 in profit. Keep in mind that when I trade my live sessions, I'm doing around 1,500 on this account. Obviously, because this isn't my main strategy, this is probably a B minus setup, or possibly even a C. Actually, no, this is actually a B plus strategy. It's actually really good. So how the tier obviously goes is C, B minus, B plus, A minus, A plus, right? My strategy sits here. The strategy is probably sitting around here. It is really good. It does capitalize on streaks and it does give you the opportunity to catch wins. As you guys probably were watching here, I could have made a fuck ton of money here, but that's completely okay. That's just how the game works, right? Too much yapping, I guess. That's a winning trade, so we're going to enter again. And we're just going to try and capitalize here. Got that losing trade, that's completely okay. So what I'm going to do is add 92 there. And obviously take off the 100 once again. That's completely fine though, $228 up on the strategy. And we're just going to keep capitalizing on these streaks. Pretty much after like you take a losing trade, pretty much after you take a losing trade, you stop. And then just take a break, like let the market play out for a bit and then go back at it again. That's pretty much the whole consensus. So yeah, we can go again. That was a terrible entry by me. Completely misplaced that. But obviously we would have lost that. I'm not going to re-enter just because we were actually trying to sell there, but I made that mistake. So I'm just going to add that 220, let the markets play out for a bit, have a sip of water, let my mind clear because I made a mistake there. So let's just reset, reconfigure our thoughts, and just see the mistake we made. That was meant to be a sell, but we took a buy. We made the right decision to not enter again because we would have lost. All right, let's get back into it. We've allowed for multiple candles to continue. Let's get back into it. Here we go. There's a selling opportunity here. See what it does. That's a good opportunity there. That's a winning trade. So we're going to add 92 onto here. This is also another winning trade here. So we're going to add 92 onto there. Another winning trade. So we're going to add 92 onto there. Let's just wait for all of these to play out, see how much we can make. Okay, so I won one there. I need to add another 92 and another 92 and then subtract 100. So now $396 in profit. Literal proof that this does make money. And currently we are sitting in significant profit. We are going to continue with this though. So let us find a new pair. Here we go. It looks like we could possibly get a down streak here. So let's take the chance that it does continue. And that's exactly what we need to do on this strategy, right? Obviously, there's a winning trade. Let's see if we can keep riding these streaks. We lost that. That's okay, though. So we can obviously add 92 there and then minus 100. Because we win 92 and we lose 100. That's pretty much how the calculations work. Let's get some more streaks going here. There's a winning trade there. See if we can keep going, catch more. Unlucky. So plus 92 minus 100. Okay, $380 in profits. Let's see what that is in rands. And see if we should probably stop here. Okay, 6,230 Rand. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so we are currently up 380. I'm going to pretty much make it one hard stop. So with the moment I lose, actually, you know what? If I go down -1, which means if I go down to 280, right? If I go down to 280 or around 250, I'm going to end it here because I do want to end off in profit. I never love to end a session when I'm in profit and then I lose. Worst feeling ever. Never be greedy. So we're going to be smart about this and we're going to see how much we can make. If I lose this, we're done. Simple as. There's a winning trade on this streak. Let's keep going. This looks like a losing trade. It's completely fine, but we're still above 250. So we can keep going. 250 is going to be our stop loss on this. So you can obviously update your stop loss. That was a terrible entry. If I win this, I'm not going to re-enter because this was meant to be a losing trade. And I'm actually going to be smart about this. That was meant to be a losing trade and would have actually ended the session for us. Right? That would have taken us down to 272, but obviously we won it. So I'm going to end the session here in $464 of profit. Let's see what that takes us to. 464 USD on here. Made us 7,500 Rand using this strategy. Of course, you need to be able to obviously identify and grade the setups. So if I were you, just grade it from like an A, B, and C. Right? Here we go, C. And then obviously just like plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus. Here, you should probably decrease your trade size, like half the original trade size. This should be your normal trade size over here. And then obviously this, you should probably double it or increase it. But then obviously always return it back down to here. If it's like a B plus, maybe make it like 125. B minus, make it like 75. So how it would work is like this. Let me make it neater. A, B, C, and then like plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, right? Let me make that minus a bit better. B plus, I would say, is the 100. Make this 75, and then 50, 25, and make them increments of like, yeah, like 25, I'd say. Here you could go like 150, 300, because you know for a fact it's going to win. And this is the sort of risk model that you need to use for trading strategies like this. If you do want to scale your profits, obviously not recommended because you guys are brand new to quick trading. But these are simple approaches that I'm trying to get across to you guys so that you can understand it a lot better. So this is the streak following strategy with a whole bunch of risk involved, the different setups like the ABC, plus minus for all of them, and exactly how to identify when you are sitting in profit and what you should actually make your stop loss during that. So obviously we went up to around 370. I put my stop loss at 250. We actually won the trade that we were meant to lose on, which actually took us to like 460, right? 460. So we're actually going to take that 460. So these are the sort of measurements that you need to take as a trader so that you aren't greedy, right? You can't be greedy as a trader. You need to be making the right decisions. So in hindsight, I probably would have ended the session on the trades that I took that I actually won on. I probably would have lost around 2 units there, right? So realistically, with this trading strategy, you should have expected to make around 264 USD with $100 trades after the time span that I did. So realistically, I should have made around 4,000 Rand using the strategy. And that's why I put it in B+, because it's not like my main strategy, which I teach in the course, which allows me to trade an A+ setup every single time and make over like 75,000 Rand a day every time I trade. Obviously, I don't trade every day, but the days that I do trade, it's always above this because of that A+ setup and that win rates, right? Your win rate's good. The win rates on here, I'd say was probably around 60, probably 55 to 60% win rates. But the one that I have is probably sitting on around 80%, which is why I'm allowed to obviously increase my sizes on even more, like an A++ setup and an A++ setup. So But that's the strategy, streak following. Use it, use the different setups, use the different risk models, aim for targets, guys. Set targets. Aim for plus 12, okay? That's your take profit. If you hit that, you get out. Also, if you hit -5, you get out. Simple as you take a streak, you buy if it's green, okay? You keep going until you lose, right? So here we won, we would buy again until we lose. And we keep catching that streak, okay? So we would lose there and we would get out, find a brand new streak, let a couple candles go because there's a possibility that you could fall into alternating phases like this where it won't provide you with any streaks like any of this choppiness. So if you actually wait after a streak like this, right? Here's one last tip. If you wait for a streak like this, or trade a streak like this, and then obviously lose here, give it like 10 candles, you're probably eliminating a lot of this choppiness, a lot of this consolidation, when you can then go and obviously trade streaks like this, and streaks like this all over. Be smart. Okay, be smart as a trader. Implement every single thing that I used inside of this video, inside of the strategy video, the risk management, the targets, the entries, the setups. And trust me, if you implement it properly, you will understand the whole risk, the whole approach, and the whole system behind quick trading a lot better. And you will definitely understand it a lot better, and will definitely want to join the community over here. 1000%. The 370 guys inside of here are absolutely cooking. Absolutely cooking. Like, look at this. If we go to the official website, guys, these guys are sitting on, I don't even know, I think we're over like 4 million Rand now. What's the update now? 4.2 million Rand, guys. Absolutely incredible what they're doing in here. And this is exactly where they started. They started with strategies like this that teach them exactly everything they need to do. But other than that, thank you for watching this video. And I hope to see you inside of the community, inside of the program. But if not, I hope you enjoyed the strategy and that you find quick trading enjoyable, and that you can go and understand it a lot better after using the strategy. Cheers, guys.